Everything's coming through, guys. So bear with me. Whenever you answer the call from God, God wants you to know. And the first one is making sure to clear the line, the pipeline, or the reception. Clear the communication line between you and God so that there's not much static, right? So you can have clear hearing, clear knowing, whatever the information is coming in from God to yourself. So we'll talk about that real quick. But then also, whenever you receive the call from God, God wants you also to take into account your network, your coverage. Or God will give you expanded coverage. So if you want to compare this to like cell phone coverage, this is what God is showing me. And so God is also showing me a video that I had where another woman was in a completely different area, right? But we also know that with social media, we have a large coverage too. So this could be applied to anybody, especially if you're somebody who speaks on behalf of God. This is also for you, but it could be anything. God will expand your coverage. If you answer the call, God wants you to make sure that the lines are clear by doing these certain things that God's going to give me. But also God is telling you that he will expand your coverage to different regions. So he's giving me examples of like, AT&T and Verizon and Sprint, and how you have different coverage, different levels and plans of coverage and stuff like that. So it's coming in quick, and let's talk about it. So making sure that you have clear, you have the power to make sure and ensure that you have a clear connection to God without much static, without much interference. Okay. And it's going to be you and God working on this. So if you've ever had hesitation or fear that, yes, I have answered the calling from God, but sometimes with demonic attacks and stuff like that, I am not sure if it's clear or if what I am getting and receiving from God is clear. Well, one thing is you have to make sure is to clear the static to ensure that the voice is God's. Okay, that you know God's timbre, that you know God's tone, that you know the way that God talks. And sometimes that is going to be specific to you, right? But God right now is talking about in general. So if somebody is also worried about the specificity of it all, okay, but I am unique and God talks to me in this different way. But God is talking about an overall generality of it. And you're being asked to clear those lines as well. So you have the power to do this by knowing God's voice, knowing what God will and won't do, and the style of the style of speech. Okay, so that pipeline can be that pipeline, or that which is very cool that I'm using that word, but we're talking about the line, right? The line of communication can be tampered with by drugs. It can be tampered with by your own drama or trauma and allowing those pipelines to be muddied a bit. But it could also be tampered or dampened with by the people that's around you. God is saying the people that's around you. There's also conditioning. Okay, that's all. It looks like that's where God is stopping right now. And then when you pray to God or when you talk to God, you're going to understand God in a style, right? And so God is also and so this is when God is bringing out your uniqueness, not necessarily about kind of pinpointing how he speaks to you, but your uniqueness. He's giving me of how you perceive how God is speaking or talking to you. And God is pointing out the fact that we are all different with different experiences, with different viewpoints. And he's saying God is saying, I don't change, you change. Like it's you and how you perceive and receive information from God. Oh, wow. Woo! Okay, so that's what God is saying. Okay, so how you, okay, he's giving me how you sit down in meditation, where you're at, and how you, oh wow, and how you build the sanctuary around you in order to receive God. What do you have around you that is going to muddy or sin? Wow, so objects and things that you have around you. So I'm getting some of you guys may have like statues around you, or you have it's like something that may receive an entity or an energy that is that kind of contradicts what God represents around you. So that's what God is saying. So making sure that things are so pure. So we know that objects hold energy and stuff like that, right? Right. And so do people, and so do their communication and things like that. So what God is saying is someone right now has like things or objects around them that does not necessarily promote the pure reception of information from God to you. And God is saying that it's like about you, because we know that God has the power and things like that, but how things are impacting you and how you are receiving God, it's someone acting, it's compromising the energy and the pure connection between you and God. And it's because of the value that you give the object and the thing. Wow. And so it's like the connection with you and God can be more pure, but since you have an attachment to something else, it's like that pure, all of that concentration of energy and connection between you and God, there's something that you're giving power to, that once you release it, that power can be redirected to concentrate the energy between you and God. Oh my goodness. Okay. The music, there's music, right? And I can even take a page out of my book for this one, because I do try to make sure the music that I listen to, I could do better. 622 if you like numbers. I could do better, because sometimes I do like me an instrumental and I'm like, okay, I hear what you're saying, but then they'll say something that I'm not paying so much attention to, and you know what I mean? So I can do better. So I am with you on this, but okay. So that's, I'm just saying that as a connection. So God, the food you eat, God is saying the food you eat. Yes. Okay. So our stomach is also, it's another brain, right? So we know how the brain fires off in a certain way, and we know how the brain intercepts and things like that. But it looks like your stomach and brain connection, that's what God is pointing out to me, your stomach and brain connection, because it kind of works like this, right? What you feed yourself can develop or impact the development of your brain, right? And the things that you need for your nutrition, your mental health and stuff like that as well. Jesus Christ, y'all, I'm trying. But also how that impacts your stomach as well, right? Okay, I'm not feeling, it's like God is giving me depression. Like, okay, I'm depressed, so I'm going to feed myself whatever. And that in turn, you grab like a cake or a popsicle or an ice cream. God's bringing chips to me. Things like that. I try not to eat chips so much, guys. There was one point like, oh man, anyway. I released it now, because y'all, I had a favorite chip. I did. But anyway, let me tell you, I'm just telling you that I get it and I understand, and so that in turn impacts your gut health, right? And then, so God is just showing me this, like the taking, the giving and receiving, the reciprocity between the stomach and your mind, right? So that's what God is saying, because we know that foods hold frequencies, right? And so God, to have a pure connection to God, there's a frequency, and it's not saying that you're completely cut off or whatever, but to clear the connection between you and God, God is saying, you gotta be on your, 822 if you like numbers, you gotta be on your stuff with this, right? So, the healthy eating, wow, I'm sweating in my car trying to go in here. I'm fasting right now, y'all. And so I'm only doing like water and like certain juice and stuff like that. So I'm literally about to walk into the store and get me some juices. But anyway, but that's what God is saying. So he's talking about that, right? Let's talk about expansion. So first off, what did God say? So he's talking about the food you eat, the people who are around you, the objects that you have around your house. And we're talking about the clear connection, right? And then the prayer, realizing who God is, how his voice sounds, the timbre. For some reason, God is pointing out the timbre of his voice for somebody. There's this guy that his voice is coming to me, and it's specific, because if you were to talk to me, I would probably point out James Earl Jones like everyone else, but there is a specific guy and his voice is coming to me when God is talking about the timbre. He's the guy from like the Allstate commercial, Dark. I know he's been on Waiting to Excel before. His voice for some reason is coming through. So if that might be important to you, God is talking about the timbre of his voice, and then he's pointing out the style of his talk. He wants you to recognize what his voice sounds like when you pray. And this is for somebody who is unsure. For some reason, there's an uncertainty about, okay, is this God? Okay, is this God? You know, you're talking to me. Because guys, you are very right. The devil, but however you know it, the devil or the darkness can act as God, and it will be through good things. You're like, okay, I know God is only going to tell me these good and positive things, so that got to be God. No. Like, the devil knows the language of God as well. We talk about the fallen, right? And how so close that we can, anyway. But the devil knows what will trick you as well. Okay. So you also have to know, God deeper in how you perceive and what's going to impact your perception of God. That's why God pointed that out about you and not about him. How am I going to know? Right. That's the impact right there. Right. That's what makes the difference. So we talked about that. And so in one of my videos, I was talking about spending time with God, having a conversation, and it was, what was it? It was, how God knows your name. Right. And so that can kind of go with it, is sitting down, spending time, talking to God, and getting more familiar. Okay. Now let's talk about expansion. So God wants you to know that once you get this fine-tuned and stuff like that, that God is going to expand your coverage. Okay, expand your coverage. So it's going to get to many different people, and it's going to appeal to many different people. It's going to be the message that they need. And you are also wow. Your connection to God is going to carry the clear connection to the people who needs God the most. And so what I'm seeing, God is, for some reason, God is reciprocating right now. He's showing me, it's funny because we're talking about the connection, the expansion, the coverage that you would get. But for some reason, God is showing me like this wire and like this energy running through a connection from the people to you. That's really, really cool. Like the cord is being shown here for the coverage. It's like a synapse. It's like the brain. Sorry, I won't get too much into that because I am not that person. Like I don't know like the details of the wiring of the brain, but I'll show you what God is showing me, like a cord for coverage. You know how they show you those maps for coverage for phones and stuff like that? That's what God is showing me. And then there's literally like a bolt, like a lightning, like literally there's like a surge of energy that God is showing me coming from those people to you. So that is so funny. 1222 if you like numbers. That's what God's showing me. So that, and then now he's telling me like that's all. So God is going to expand your coverage with this clear communication. You're going to act as that phone service for people. Okay. Woo! Okay, that's it. I'm so sorry if I talk so fast and stuff. I just try to pick things up as they come because I am confident I'm just growing stronger in my skills. And so there's a part of me that I am completely releasing, which feels like, okay, if I don't say it right there immediately how God is giving it to me, like any delay is going to muddy the connection or whatever. 1313 if you like numbers. And so me and God, you know, we're that's the thing. Okay, I love you guys so much. And excuse me, but I'm not going to edit this video very much. So if you can work with me and my pauses and stuff like that, I'll probably just edit the very beginning of it when I'm talking, because I think that I had a rough, slow start. But I'm just gonna post this as it is, because I realize it's an insecurity that I have released now about needing to give information so very quickly, which we just talked about. And so that leads to me editing stuff. But me editing stuff, it takes the genuineness and authenticity out of it, of the gift that God has given me. And it kind of, to me, it takes somebody from the moment and the power of which things can be delayed, because I even believe that there's God in pauses and in mistakes. So I'm gonna get, I'm growing in this, and I love y'all so much. Thank you so much. And I hope that this is for, and I know through God, this is going to get to who it needs to. Okay, bye.